September 5th, 2018. The sun's in Virgo. Saturn's still retrograde. Mars has left. No, Mars is still in Capricorn as well, but it's not retrograde anymore. That's what time it is. But we're gonna go. It's about, as you can see, the sun. It's early in the morning. The sun has just risen. Here we are. What's been going on lately? Just been working, chugging, but not just at work. I recently just put my second book out, and I'm just gonna put my third one out within the next month and a half, maybe even sooner. Because fuck it, just let's just unleash all the rounds. It's go hard time. That's that's what I've learned over the past year is how to tap into the back into my emotional side. That's the rage, the chaotic energy. I've been like, that's what I realized I wanted to do last year. If for the people who like really know me, or I don't know if I made videos about it anymore. I don't remember what like my last few videos are about right now. But besides the video game ones that I just uploaded, I'm getting back in the gaming, but those are old highlights. Yeah, 2017. I usually have these models for myself. Last year, 2017, was destroy everything you touch. It's a name of a song. It's a name of a song, but the type of energy I wanted to bring that into my life to explain it like that. So I kind of during this process I've let go of a lot of stuff. I sold my Xbox. I didn't get my van fixed. I just my Scoob. So I just took the bus. Had to walk like in the rain. Had to walk in the sun. Had to walk in the cold. All types of elements. Windy. For instance, I had this job. It was a crappy ass job. I just took it. I'm a freelancer in a way. No, I'm a freelancer. I just took this job. It's about 3 or 4 miles away from where I'm at right now. So it's I would get off around sometimes between 9 and 12. If you know around here, the bus system, everything around here closes real early. It's a small town, so the buses stop early. I can only get but so far some nights, and depending on what day it is. So I had to walk. There was literally no one who could pick me up. Nobody. It was just in a way maybe I could have pushed it, but I think I wanted to walk home because it was part of this hardening process that I was going through. So there was nights where I was just so tired that I'll just look over there on the side of the road like, man, like I could just go there and take a nap on the ground right now. I'm so exhausted. When I already had walked like maybe 3 miles, having a mile, maybe a mile and a half left or something like that. Just at like 2:30 in the morning, just so fucking exhausted that I'm just running on fumes. But I get there. It's all about pushing past one said limits. For instance, once again, I felt over the past year I don't know I've quadrupled my jogging distance. When I started jogging just 2 3 years ago, I maybe could have jogged 100 yards, but I can jog over 10 miles now, and unless it's like extremely hot that day, it's I can feel fine after it. Like I won't be maybe like right after I'm done, I'm like, a little tired, but like about 20 minutes later, I'm fine. It's like it never even happened. all about building up. I wanted to be someone else. I wanted to be something else. I wanted to be stronger. So I just put all these random limitations on myself to see if I can push past it with just me. But now it's a different year. Destroy everything you touch is over. This year, King of the Mountain. Because if you want to go back all the way, it started with one of my greatest friends, probably is my greatest friend. We just came up with this motto because we were trying to become better swimmers because we can't swim. We're both black, and we have black people have thinner bones, so it's harder for black people to swim. It's not just that black people can't swim. It's just literally harder. But yeah, we're trying to learn how to swim, so we came up with this motto because like first thing you have to do is jump in the pool, right? So we came up with jump in the pool because the water was cold as fuck. We weren't used to that shit at first, so because at first when the water's cold, you just go in there and like put your toe in a little bit, maybe you like let's sit on the side, put your legs in there. But now we're like, nah, nigga, jump in the pool. We just jump in that shit. So that was the first year. I think it was 2014. 2015. That might be 2015. I don't know. We'll get there. The year after that was climb the mountain. So it's basically just like, if you're climbing a mountain, it's basically just you climbing, trying to get to the top. No, it's climb the hill. No. I don't know. I might have been climbing the mountain. I don't know. Okay. So we climbed the mountain. And the year after that, so that must have been 2016, which was, me the last year, which was destroy everything you touch. And this year is King of the Mountain. So it kind of always, it goes in the flow. It's basically just about like, if you wanted to go Eastern philosophy, just like the Kundalini chakra energy, just raising yourself up. Basically, if you want to just go there and then just becoming the king of your own mind or queen, whatever works for you. Doesn't It's the same sentiment, you know. Let's see what else is there. I've been studying astrology for years now. I haven't been studying too much lately. That's just because I feel like I figure things out on my own. For instance, what I realized is that one thing is that a lot of my closer friends, so far, all of them, I'm not saying that if I happen to have a friend who doesn't have this classification, that we will not be as good as friends. But so far, every friend that I've looked at, okay, they're born closer to a new moon than a full moon. Why? This is relevant for me because on my chart, my moon is 2 degrees past the sun. So it's basically right on top of each other. I was born like on a new moon, not an old moon, as in the moon wasn't behind the sun. It was literally 2 degrees out of 360 past it. I realized, like, even, most people, everyone that I've looked at so far, born closer to a new moon. Or right on a new moon. That's pretty interesting. Another interesting, just to tie in both of the last things I was talking about. One day I was jogging, and I came to this realization that this astrological occurrence just happened. It's not like in this. You could say, yeah, it was in the stars, but I realized how it happened in my life. This is really interesting right here. I don't know how many months ago. Wait, it's September now, so I think it was June or July. Mars had just went retrograde, which was in my first house, Aquarius. And have when a planet goes retrograde, it looks as if it's going backwards, right? Okay, let's just break. I'm gonna break down my chart really quick. I have three planets: Sun, Moon, Venus in my first house, Aquarius. I have four planets in my 12th house, Capricorn. Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Mercury in my 12th house. Okay, so that's established. So, okay. My Mars and Jupiter is in Taurus, just to throw it out there, but okay, this Mars is relevant in this conversation. Okay. When Mars went retrograde, it was in my first house, it was in Aquarius, it's in Capricorn now. But when it just happened, it was just starting to look as if it's going backwards, right? Okay. 2 weeks prior to this happening, I was supposed to go on vacation. But for some reason, because I just started a new job, for some reason, I couldn't go on that date. So I had to go 2 weeks after. At the time, this is the only thing I realized. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. That I, because I follow some astrology people online. I follow, like, I have a website where you can see the charts, like where the stars are at right now, the planets, alignment, blah. Um, I was like, oh, I'm going on vacation right as Mars is going retrograde in my first house, Aquarius. So it's like I'm going backwards. I'm taking a step back and relaxing while Mars and Aquarius is doing the exact same thing. And when I compare retrograde to the people who know, like most people just know this, but if you watch Dragon Ball Z, I compare what the retrograde is to the Kamehameha, or like any type of charge up energy blast from anything ever. Is when you're charging it up. I feel like that's like a planet going in retrograde. You're kind of like gathering in a way. You're not pushing forward. Like, that's the type of energy it is. Even if it's literally is moving forward still, which it is, it just appears to be going backwards, which changes the perception of where the galaxies behind it are as a magnifying glass being pointed here. So, yeah. Okay, Mars goes in retrograde, my first house. Okay, at this time already, Saturn was already retrograde. So, I had two retrograde planets right next to each other. Well, not like right next to each other as in where the planets are aligned, but on my chart, they're right next to each other. So Mars is going backwards. Mars is the action planet. Like a lot of people who are into sports and know astrology look for Mars to like to indicate certain things and aspects of people. For instance, that last year? I don't remember. I can't believe people bought this. But that Mayweather McGregor fight, it was an example of the Wonder Woman movie in a way because you had Mars. Mayweather had Mars in Aquarius, and McGregor had Mars in Aries. And the Wonder Woman movie was more. If you watch Wonder Woman movie, the Wonder Woman movie, you'll see that you know astrology. You know that it's the story of Aquarius and the Aquarius age. Wonder Woman is clearly an Aquarius. If you watch them, just watch it in your head. If you know anything about astrology, just think this is an Aquarius movie. Wonder Woman is an Aquarius because the story of that movie is just to break it down real quick. Just if you know anything about we're in the Aquarius age, right? Okay, this is the story of Aries basically ruling through the age of Pisces, and then Zeus, knowing he's losing the battle against Aries, Zeus sends something called the God Killer, literally called the God Killer, to Earth to be bred and sprung out and brought to life one day. which is supposedly, well, the Aquarius. Because Aquarius, if you think about it, is the water bearer, right? So in a way, Zeus giving like the Pisces energy to Aquarius, which is Wonder Woman, makes sense. But not to go too deep into that movie right now, because that's not the point of this. I just wanted to overview how Mars, Aquarius, Aries connection a little bit on a broader scheme. So Mars and Aquarius, I was going on vacation that day. The next day, right after it happened, backwards, where my 12th house is. So I'll go the first house to 12th house, right? So I do that where my Saturn in Capricorn was already in retrograde. Backwards, right? And then what's the sign right before Capricorn? Sagittarius. What's right next to Sagittarius? Scorpio. I went to go chill with my Scorpio friend who dates my Sagittarius friend. So it's kind of like how you hear the women's in charge of the household, which is totally true. That I can't go backwards to chill with Scorpio until I go through Sagittarius, which is fun because I love both of them. I'm so glad they're together. Like they're one of my favorite couples of all time. Um, where was I getting at with that? And here's the strange thing, right? Here's how it gets even weirder. I realized that I went there before. I went there last year too. When I realized that I went there within the same week that I went there last year. So that makes it even weirder when you consider that I had to wait 2 weeks because of my job to go. That somehow it all aligned to me going on the same week as I did last year. And even more than that, fuck, I just lost it. I'm so not woke right now. uh, yeah, I think I was just going to reiterate going backwards and it being retrograde, and that's the planets going backwards. It's like, oh yeah, I was going to say how Capricorn went, it didn't go back to Sagittarius, but last year when I went there, it was in Sagittarius. That's pretty interesting occurrences. How like you're as above, so below, and I don't know, maybe that's true because when I broke down on Instagram one day, is that how the multiverse makes sense now because you have, I can't think of it. What is it? The atom that has 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons. If you look at it, you have the electron and proton, they're stuck together. Those 6 making the 12. And you have the neutron that's kind of like floating around, kind of like how the planets float around the sun. And then you think about how many cells or atoms, I forget which one it is, that has that breakdown are in your body. Because, like, just think about it. You probably can't see my skin too good, but, like, this part of my skin is a lot lighter than the skin that's over here. Or even, for instance, the skin right here, let's go use my arm. The skin from, like, right here to right here looks the same, right? But sometimes I wear shirts, I wear a lot of shirts I wear cut off right here. So, there's a difference between what's right here and what's right here, even though it looks very similar in a lot of different ways. Not to mention the muscles that's behind it. I don't know, I can't say I use this muscle more than I use my shoulder muscle. But the muscles, like, it's it's more squishy a little bit right here than it is right here because the muscle right there is more used than whatever right here. So what I'm saying is that that can explain how you can have a universe that's very similar to what's going on right here, besides the fact that maybe you had sex with someone else, you lost your virginity to someone else. That's the only thing that's different. Or maybe you broke your leg when you were a little kid, or compared to this round where you didn't. Or maybe you didn't grow up playing video games, you got into it when you were older. Or um, a whole bunch of variations. This is too much. This is too much to even name all of them. But yeah. Let's see. I'll just show you something interesting really quick. Hold on. I was talking. This will bring everything real full circle. This is where I first became a writer. I thought it would be interesting one day to write about like some of my crazy times in high school. I didn't write. I wrote it back then, but there's something I want to show you. Something I want to read. I was right about a lot of stuff. I read this one day. Pretty interesting. I predicted which female, because I mean, everyone's kind of a whore in high school, right? So I predicted which one would still be around right now, and I was right. We're still friends, even chill sometimes. But yeah, what I want to show you is that the first time I took psychedelics, something I haven't done for a while. You don't really, what you really need realize is that you don't. It's something that you don't need to do a lot, but something you might should do often, if that makes sense. Because I feel like it's a good mental reset. I haven't done it in a couple of years. Who knows when I'll do it next? So it's not really, it's not something you have to do a lot. I mean, for me personally. But I wrote about my first time doing mushrooms. I don't know where it's at though, because I don't know this shit that good. I'm talking about doing taekwondo. Yeah, which was a good. Looking back, taekwondo taught me a lot of stuff. Taught me the importance of form. And I've done kickboxing before that. I mean, kickbox training wasn't like a doing matches and shit, but probably could have. Oh, her. That was an interesting 420. Damn, where's this shit at, man? Oh, hold on. I'm really gonna focus for like the next like 20 seconds to trying to find this because it's really interesting. Oh God! Wow. I do not want to read that. Where are you? God. Oh man, this is pretty funny. Okay. Okay. Here we are. June  21st, 2009. This is. I didn't know anything about psychedelics or anything. This was just what I actually was interrupted while writing this. When I'm looking at it, my handwriting on here looks a little bit more different than it does in anything else. Not by a lot, but just a little bit more swirling. I started. I I didn't know anything about nothing about the information. That's this. I'm gonna get to the information after this. This is a good segue. I started off with question mark, 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 question mark. This might be the most important day in my life. I feel like I'm 100% self aware and nothing that stupid matters, but I'm also shrooming. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. So maybe those things will feel important tomorrow. But really, I'm just questioning the importance of them, period. I need to find my number one. That's pretty interesting. Actually, was that my first time or second time doing shrimp? But either way, back then I was just doing shrimp because someone told me that it was fun. I was like, cool, yeah. But I've always got some. Even when I started taking acid a little bit, I got something different from it than fun. I'll, I'm gonna leave this open so I can remember to get back to information before I tell this after I tell the story. I was I feel like because let me slow down. I'm trying to put too much together. Okay, one day I took acid with my roommate. We were playing Grand Theft Auto 5. It was on 360. That's how long ago it was. It was when it just came out on 360, basically. A little bit, maybe the year after it came out. It was when online just came out when they had 360. Just you can find that time frame. Okay. I played a lot of GTA, and this wasn't just I was hallucinating, so I thought it was something that wasn't going on. Okay. I was playing that game on acid at such a high level. Like the highest level I've ever played it. I'm not saying that I can't do that, I can't reach those goals without it, but it felt like my brain was, it didn't feel like I was hallucinating. A lot of times I trip, it doesn't feel like I'm hallucinating. It feels like my brain is working better. That's what I've always thought, and that's basically what I'm getting at this old writing I have. I was driving, right? I had I got 6 stars. I was going drive. I had a solid car, nothing, not like the fastest car. I think I had like a one of the muscle car, like the old it kind of looks like the old '80s Mustang, something like that, or not Mustang, like a Monte Carlo, something like that. Um, but yeah, like I was fitting in through the most perfectly tiny cracks. Like if I just moved even a little bit, I would have like at least scratched the car. It's just like perfect, perfect, perfect. Not slide. What's it? Perfect drift to get to the other road. Not move the car around just so I can fit right into another hole. I'm flying on the sidewalk. I'm not hitting pedestrians. I'm swerving away from. It's kind of like how I've been watching speed runs of old games on Super Nintendo. It kind of is like if you just go, even in just life. This is what I realized when I talk about even early in this video, getting in tune with my emotions. That if you just go and just go for it, there's usually an opening for you at some point. You just have to do it. Shia LaBeouf. You just have to go for it. And you can find that opening, like a running back, just behind the offensive line. Le'Veon Bell. That's a good example. I don't even know football too much anymore, but I know like he be behind the line a lot, waiting for that hole to open. It's interesting though. But yeah, I got away from the cops in a car that wasn't. necessarily the fastest car. It wasn't a souped up car. I just stole it. Which gets me to like, hold on, I have to get back to remember important information. Sometimes I think that if this is a simulation, right, that the way we treat characters on Grand Theft Auto maybe is a good barometer of why we get shitted on as people by like the upper class, right? Because if we are in a simulation, they know it for sure. Because even, all right, just to go even further, like before simulation theory, there was something else. It was called like Maya. That this is all just people have always thought that this reality was something was wrong about it. Like it wasn't right. You can even go to that painting called The Starry Night. That's all about like how this person doesn't really trust this reality at its fundamental. It's like, yo, there's something about this that's not real. You can go back to mythology. They'll talk about like portals and like ghosts and like entities and like basically like they know. Even the Bible even tells you that this reality isn't the one you need to worry about. You need to just focus on being your true inner self, and you'll be alright. Without all the dogma about going to hell or heaven throughout translations, which is like Satan being Prometheus or like Mercury. Like, if you just get away from like the trying to control you shit, and you can kind of just like see the message behind it, know it's like the story of astrology in a big way too. How like the symbol for Christianity is a fish, and the opposite, and the fish in astrology is Pisces, and the opposite of fish is Virgo, the Virgin. So you have Jesus, the fish, Christianity, the opposite, Virgo, the Virgin, Mary, the complete opposite, right? And Jesus' birthday is during Capricorn season, which is the Baphomet, which is the symbol of the devil. If you look up what the devil looks like, you probably get the Capricorn Baphomet. But then you have Christmas, and which is supposed to be Jesus' birthday during Baphomet season, which is just like a painting that someone came up with. Maybe it's some entity that came through someone's painting, but basically it's just because the symbol for Capricorn is like the mountain goat, because they're stubborn. You see mountain goats, they just stand on the most insane cliff ever, just like they're not doing shit. They're just unbothered by it, by the scope of what they're climbing, because that's what they were built for. What was I getting at with that? Oh yeah, just more like, just look it up. There's a lot. I'm no expert on comparing the Bible to astrology, but I've heard things and I've seen things on my own that makes me. People like to just throw the baby out with the bathwater and just think everything in the Bible is shit because people who are Christian can be shit. But there's a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of stuff in the Book of Revelation. There's a lot of hidden messages. If you can it basically goes down to that thing that Bobby Hemmett has said, and I don't even think it's his quote, but it's one of his lectures. He who knows one book knows no books. Because even if you don't know numerology, then you don't know a lot about the Bible. Because I was, for instance, getting back to Capricorn Jesus. When did Jesus start his, Jesus was 30 years old when he started his, like, he started something when he was 30 years old. It's kind of losing me right now because I'm just trying to, this is kind of jumbled in. I'm trying to, like, think of other things to compared to right now, but he started like his pilgrimage at 30, or he started like his ministry at 30 or something like that, right? Then he's born, celebrated doing Capricorn season, right? When you're 30, you're going through your Saturn return. So that's what I'm saying is that it has something to do with that as well. Why it's that age. He died at age 33, which is this is a lot of stuff. I'm not just gonna get into it, but which gets me back to, I'm glad I left this open. Get back to the whole hallucinogenic, knowing about what mushrooms and tripping was before looking up the information. Which gets me back to what I've been trying to do. King of the Mountain, the feel. Because the information is hollow. Usually, what I realize is that 99.9% of information just explains a feeling. Like, I can explain how my best friend is Aquarius. I mean, his best friend's a Leo with a Cancer moon. But if you meet him, you don't need to know that information because you can just see it in him. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why I got into astrology, because I felt like there was something there. Now I just have the information where I can like tell that story, which probably would have happened either way, whether I knew about my Mars in Aquarius or my Mars in Taurus. Mars being in Aquarius. You heard it if you watched the video earlier. That would have did it anyway. It's easy for me to get lost in thought, but the truth is that when people tell you to follow your heart, what they're telling you is to align. Basically, it goes back to chakras again. Even people who say this is a mental realm, then it means it goes back to that too. Is that what you really want to do is align everything. Total alignment. Just to feel with your heart. What you want to do is align your heart with your brain. So it's a complete flow. Because you can get lost in mental realms. And if your heart's not there to pull you out, you can just be scatterbrained. I've been there. Or you can just be all heart. And just going from thing to thing, not realizing you're doing the same thing over. You need to improve. Your brain is the antenna for your heart. And that's why the chakra system is like that. That's what I've gotten from it. I haven't studied it too deeply, but that's what I feel about it. That's what I have my overview of it so far. So yeah. Absorb the earth. A lot more interesting things coming up soon. Never study one thing. If you want to get into this information stuff, you kind of have to study everything. Like, for instance, just to throw one more thing out there before I end this video, I made a connection between the New England Patriots and the Patriots from Metal Gear Solid. Because of the year that Sons of Liberty came out, it's the year that the Patriots won their first Super Bowl, I believe. And the Patriot Act that came out, talking about bringing down the Patriots. Because what did the Patriots get in trouble for? The Patriots in the NFL, they got in trouble for spying, Spygate. Like, because people who are into sports, they're sports heads and they don't know much else. If you think about the Patriots, Spygate, right? Then the Patriot Act being out during that exact time, then you have the Patriots from Metal Gear, right? Who want to have a system of spying and social engineering. just to throw out the quick aspects of a vast game. It's just so fast and in depth that I'm not. If I even start talking about it, I might as well just make an hour, multiple hour video because it's that in depth. But yeah, if you're into sports, you're not gonna make that connection because you're a sports head. That's why you have to study everything. That's why useless information becomes good information because like a lot of the sports information I have is kind of bullshit. I feel like, but the importance of it is to know that's not important. But then there's gems like knowing about the New England Patriots and then seeing it in video games and in law, the Patriot Act during the same year. So it's like that's not a fucking coincidence because even in that game, Sons of Liberty, they have a terrorist attack that happens in New York. The game came out in 2001. They have a terrorist act that happens in New York at the end of the game, right? You know how long it takes to make video games, especially back then. You know how much dial like if you play Metal Gear, you know that the cutscenes are long as fuck, and that there's so many Easter eggs. There's so many codec conversations that you can have that can last like 20 minutes that you can unlock just like all I'm saying is that that's the amount of times it takes to make a video game that happened to all come out during this time. Hey, all right. What else do you need to know? What else do you need to know? But yeah, let's try to live with honor. That'll be my message to you from the future. Sometimes I think about it, how long someone could be watching this thousands of years from now, and like, what were people like in the early 2000s? Such a primitive time where people still slaughtered animals for food when it's a better option, even for just even if you want to just go for the environment, not just your personal health. I don't eat meat. I don't like meat in my mouth. Maybe you like meat in your mouth. That's just not my thing. No judging. It's 2018. We're open minded now. But I don't like meat in my mouth. I don't like the way it. But yeah, I'm a vegan. No, I'm a Presbyterian. I eat fish sometimes. But all these labels, man. Like, why can't I just say I eat fish sometimes? But it's so rare that it's not even like an occurrence to like you know whatever. There's so many layers to everything. Everything's connected. But yeah, just absorb the earth. Signing out. Godspeed. Live with love and honor. One day our paths might cross. Maybe not right now. Maybe in like 10 years. Maybe in 1,000 years. Maybe in the next life. Maybe 5 lives from now. Maybe our souls know each other. But we don't know each other in this realm. And we never will meet. But you feel like you know. We might have just had like a random few conversations. Like, I feel like I know. Ever felt that before? Like you really just know someone out of nowhere. I'm just kind of talking right now. This blabber. But yeah, it's early. I need to go get some food. I'm off today. I'm off today. What shall I do with my off day? So many options. Ooh. Absorb the earth.